everybody, it's Charlie and welcome back to the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel for your post-match reaction / rant. Everton 3, Leeds United 0 in a performance that is up there with one of the worst of this season by a country mile. Probably going to be some harsh words in this, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got some very strong opinions on certain individuals in that game today. Certain harsh words for some of the decisions that were made in the game from Bielsa. And yeah, I'm just all round fuming at that performance. But just before we get into it, smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're brand new. And share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'm sure there's going to be some very strong opinions, but, you know, there's a lot of fans that are very frustrated today, so we'll get into it then. So, 3-0 to Everton. I was really confident going into this game. Simply, I watched them against Newcastle the other night, and they were really poor, like very poor. Whether that was just Newcastle and obviously St James's Park crowd getting behind them and it kind of spurred them on and whatnot. Maybe it was just a bad night at the office for them. But having watched that and then having seen how we performed against Aston Villa, just made me think that at worst we would get a point at least today, which wouldn't have been ideal really, but it'd have been much better than that shower of rubbish that happened today. But yeah, I was quietly confident that we would get 3 points in this game. The performance against Villa and the performance today were just like chalk and cheese, completely different. To say it was the same team, he named an unchanged lineup, you'd have thought it'd have been completely different with how we played. The first goal, just really poor defending, if I'm honest with you. Nearly get away with it because Calvert-Lewin missed it slightly, but then Seamus Coleman's there at the back post to head it in for 1-0. Dallas went off injured just before that, which is a huge blow if that is a serious injury. Hopefully it isn't and he's okay for the scum game next week. But on came Leo Hjelde at left back, which he did do well against West Ham at left back. So I wasn't really too concerned with that change, if I'm honest with you, but he actually ended up having a shocker as well. I thought every player was poor. Rodrigo, you know, he hits the crossbar twice in the first half, which is probably the only things that we did. He was probably the only one for Leeds today who, I don't want to say was good because he wasn't, but, you know, he was finding them spaces in them little pockets in behind the Everton midfield, trying to make things happen, but it just wasn't happening for us at all. I don't think I've ever seen us give away the ball as much in my life. Some of the passing was just shocking. Click, Ayling, Llorente, in that first half especially, were all awful. Embarrassing at times, I would go as far as to say. Then the second goal, again, set pieces is just, why do we can't work on them in training, obviously, because I'm not saying that we have to defend every set piece perfectly. You know, there's always going to be the odd game where any team could concede a goal from a corner like that. But I must admit, he's played really well recently, but Pascal Struijk, for that second goal, he's the one at fault. He doesn't look bothered. Michael Keane wanted that header more. He wanted it more. He used his aggression, his grit to get on the end of it, and it's 2-0 to Everton, who are cruising at that point. Fair play to Everton, they pressed us to death from minute 1 to minute 93. They pressed and they pressed and they pressed, which is something I didn't expect from a Frank Lampard team. He obviously got them well up for it. I don't know how, because any team getting beat 3-1 by Newcastle the other night would have been very depleted. But they weren't. He chose to start Van der Beek, who I thought was phenomenal in that midfield. But let's not forget, though, he wasn't good enough to join us. Bielsa turned him down because he wasn't better than what we've got. Yeah, nice one. But yeah, I thought he was really good. Anthony Gordon, the young kid, you know, he was really good. When you think about it, we've been ripped apart by a young Evertonian, a player in Van der Beek who, let's be honest, is probably really low on confidence after his time at Man United. Yeah, he's got a point to prove, but the fact that he performed like that today, he performed like he'd been playing consistently in this league for a while, which he hasn't. I even thought Ali looked all right when he come on as well. I just think Everton were more up for it. They wanted it more, and it showed. I mean, Jack Harrison as well, really poor today, so poor. Dan James really bad as well. Rafinha wasn't great in the first half either. Now, speaking of Rafinha, I hope for the love of God that bringing him off for Roberts was because of like a knock or something, and that we didn't want to risk him, you know, for Man United next week. Because if that was a tactical substitution, I am fuming with that change, if that is the case. Now, I saw from Graham Smith on Twitter that he was speaking with our medical team in the warm-up prior to the game, so it might have been a little knock. In a way, that's what I'm hoping for, because if that was a tactical change, then that's shocking from Bielsa. I have to be real. I'm not Bielsa out by any stretch of the imagination, but if that move is for anything other than an injury or a knock, then that is really bad. That is really bad. I'm not even saying that he had a great first half, because he didn't. But if there's one player on that pitch that could get Leeds United out of a jam, it is Rafinha. So surely it must have been a knock. That's what I'm hoping anyway, because if I find out it isn't, then I'll be screwing. But yeah, the fact that Rafinha came off, whether it is a tactical or not, when I say fair enough, but to bring him on for Roberts, and Roberts was shocking. I've said it a few times on this channel. Yes, before Christmas he had a few good games, but what does Bielsa see in Tyler Roberts? He must be sleeping with him or something behind the scenes. He must be. It's the only reason that I can think as to why he persists with him. You've got Joe Gellart rotting on that Leeds United bench, who's probably inside spitting blood and fuming that a player like Roberts is getting on ahead of him. I saw this mad stat on Twitter that in the minutes that Gellart has played, he's scored a goal, he's scored an assist, 2 penalties won, and so many successful dribbles. Come on. It's laughable. How is Tyler Roberts even a professional footballer? Absolutely stealing a living, that bloke. Stealing a living. Click was really poor as well. Too inconsistent. In summer, I'd get rid of him. I'd get rid of Roberts. Ayling was really poor as well today. Llorente has been going through a really bad bit of form recently as well. His passing from the back is atrocious at the moment. Robin Koch wasn't great, but I'd say he was probably the better of the back three. I thought Pascal had a shocker today as well. every player had a shocker. They were all bad. All as bad as each other. It's not good enough at all. Really not good enough. Everton, 1 win in 15 games prior to this game. Newcastle were 1 win in 28, 29 games before they played us, and they've both beaten us. Now, I said we'd be okay if we beat teams around us, but that's 2 teams recently that are around us, and we've both lost in them. Really concerning. Really, really concerning. I don't think we'll go down, though. To caveat everything that I've just said, I don't think we'll go down. We're very fortunate of the fact that there's Norwich, Watford and Burnley in this league who are much worse than us. I think that bottom 3 as it is now will stay that way at the end of the season. But if Leeds aren't careful, I think we're going to finish probably be either 15th, 16th or 17th. I think we'll be in and around where we are now. I think Newcastle are starting to build a bit of momentum. I think Everton might now. You know, it's just not good enough. Sorry about that, guys. I've just got a really bad cold at the minute. How I'm feeling right now is how that performance was today. Awful. It just wasn't good enough, and obviously I even spoke about the 3rd goal. Richarlison thought it was his, but it took a little deflection off of Anthony Gordon. Millier, I don't think, was at fault for any of our goals. It was just really, really bad defending. So open. Non-existent midfield in the first half. Even when Forshaw came on, I thought he were poor when he come on as well. So many misplaced passes. We weren't winning the second balls. We weren't winning the headers. They wanted it way more than us. And it showed from minute 1. From minute 1. Not good enough at all, guys. Pathetic performance. Shocking. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop there, because if I continue, I'm just going to be rambling and ranting on all night. So, try and stay positive. Ellen Road will be bouncing for that Man U game next week. Hopefully, we can get something from them. The next 3 are going to be tough, but let's hope we can get through them fairly unscathed, and then hopefully we can build, because we never have 2 games like that in a row, but we've had 3 now this season. Southampton away, Brighton away, Everton away. And, you know, there's people saying Bielsa out and stuff like that. I am not of that mindset. It's just not in me. But what I will say is, if he does stay next season, even if we do better, because I seriously think in summer there'll be a massive overhaul of this squad. There'll be players going out and a lot of players coming in, I think. Even if we do better, there's going to be a few occasions like today, the performances. Because of how we play, there's always the chance that we could play like that today. So he needs to massively either change tactics or just do what we do a lot better. And train on set pieces, for God's sake. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this post-match reaction, rant, whatever you want to call it. Everton 3, Leeds United 0. Stay positive, as I said, guys. Smash that like button. Please subscribe and share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And I'll see you in my next upload, people. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a bit.